We're now continuing section 13.2, and we're going to talk about open-end credit. So this type of credit is initially established, and it allows the consumer to make many purchases during a month up to the credit limit. So the example here is credit cards. Whether it's a Visa, a MasterCard, a Discover card, or a store credit card. So first, to have a credit card, you have to have an established credit score. So you can see here that these are the various ranges of credit scores. So this one is 800. And 800 or higher is the best credit score you can have, and that is about 13% of the population. 750 to 799 is excellent credit. Anything really 700 and higher is the side you want to be on. These credit scores over here are either because people are not able to pay off their credit, they make late payments, or because they just are trying to establish their own credit and build it up. So the above table shows the range of credit scores. Okay, it's called the Fair Isaac Corporation, and this score predicts an individual's credit risk. How likely are they to pay back the money that they are borrowing? So how do you check your own credit score? It's important to know what your credit score is. So you can annually check your credit score at annualcreditreport.com, sometimes through your online banking, through your own bank, and there are many other free sites. Now, there are 3 major credit reporting agencies that work to figure out what your credit score is. That's Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So they work to predict your likelihood of having good credit, and then Fair Isaac Corporation kind of decides where you land. So how do you build a good credit score if you don't have established credit? Well, you want to make sure that you have a job. You can apply for a secure credit card or a student credit card, which might need a co-signer, someone who already has established credit to come alongside you. Make your payments on time and in full. Maintain a low credit card balance. Know your credit report, and protect yourself from fraud. So these numbers here are the average debt that a college student carries and the average national household debt for the United States. Credit card balances carried from month to month continue to inch up, reaching $420.22 billion in 2018. And about 1 in 11 Americans say that they are so far in debt they don't ever see themselves being free and clear of credit card debt. Now, credit cards are not bad, but you have to be responsible with them. So loans of this type require a monthly payment which can vary from a set minimum up to the full balance. At the end of each billing period, the customer receives an itemized bill listing the purchases, cash advances, total balance owed. It's important to look at your bill to catch any fraudulent activity. Make sure everything on your bill are things that you purchased. Any charges beyond purchases made and the cash advances are called finance charges. So examples of finance charges might be interest if you didn't pay your balance in full, an annual fee to have that credit card, and maybe credit card insurance. Some consumers carry credit card insurance if they're carrying a large balance. We will calculate the finance charges by using the average daily balance method. Now, if you pay your balance in full every month, you won't have any interest charged to your credit card. This average daily balance to calculate finance charges is if you carry a balance from one month to another. So the bottom line is we want to be responsible consumers. And it is best to pay off your credit cards to avoid finance charges. So we're going to go through how to calculate an average daily balance and how a finance charge is then calculated from that average daily balance. So the first one is pretty easy. They want us to find the finance charge, and they've already told us the average daily balance, and they've told us the interest rate on that credit card. So this is how you find a finance charge. You take the average daily balance and you multiply that by the rate. So if they've already quoted this dollar amount, this is very easy. So we're going to take $450.21 and we're going to multiply by 0.20. So we're going to get $90.04 will be added on to that credit card as the finance charge because the balance was not paid in full. Now the next one, we have to first calculate the average daily balance. It's not told to us. So here's how we do this. If they want the finance charge and they don't tell us the average daily balance, then step one is to find the average daily balance. Well, you're finding an average. So what you're doing is you're going through the whole billing cycle, which lasts for a month. You're figuring out how the balance changes, and then you're finding an average by dividing by how many days were in that month. So here's the process. We're going to make some columns. We're going to have a column for date. We're going to have a column for what is the balance on that date. And we're going to have a column for days until change. Okay, so here's what we got. Christine's Visa bill dated April 14th shows an unpaid balance of $1,070. 5 days before May 14th, so that's when her billing period ends, Christine makes a payment of $900. Find her finance charge at 10% per month using the average daily balance method. So we're going to write down that first date given. Usually what I do is I list all of the dates first in my column. Now they mention, you got to catch it, 5 days before May 14th, so we also have to write down May 9th, and then we have to write down May 14th. So here are the dates told to us in our problem. Now we're going to figure out, well, what's the balance on those days? So April 14th, the balance is $1,070. What's the balance on May 9th? Well, the balance goes down because she makes a payment. So we're going to take $1,070 minus $900, and we're going to say that the balance on May 9th is $170. This is the end of the cycle. It's the end of the billing cycle, and we don't worry about what the balance is on that day. So now we need to know how many days it stayed at this balance. So it stayed at this balance from April 14th through May 9th, which is 25 days. To help you compute the days, you have to know how many days are in a month. So April has 30 days. So that's going to be helpful for us to calculate how many days. And then it stayed here for 5 days. And that's a total of 30 days. So remember, you're figuring out an average daily balance for the month, so your total number of days should be 30 or 31, because that is the usual number of days in a month. Now what you do is you calculate the average. So here's how you calculate an average. You take how many times it sat at each of these dollar amounts. So we're going to say 1,070 was for 25 days, plus 170 was for 5 days, because we're trying to come up with an average. So we need to add how many times it was this number and how many times it was that number, and then we divide by how many total days. So we're going to divide by 30. So we get that the average daily balance was $920. Now the credit card company creates the finance charge based off of this dollar amount. So now we can do the finance charge. And that's step 2. So we take 920 times 0.10 because we were told that the credit card was 10%, and we get that our finance charge is $92.